Hello, and welcome to another edition of TSAM Daily. Today, I'm going to be having a chat with Sarah Pryor, Global Client Communications Go-to-Market Specialist. We're going to be having a chat about how to boost revenue and client relationships with digital client engagement. Let's take a look. So Sarah, why is digital client engagement important?
So first of all, client engagement full stop is pretty important across the board. So everyone needs to make sure within the investment management industry that they're really engaging with their clients, making sure that they're using the appropriate methods to actually talk to them, get down to what actually matters to them and respond to their needs appropriately. Now, the best way of doing that at the moment, especially in a remote environment, is using digital technologies. So whether that be via a portal, whether that be just, on a phone, being able to engage properly at a swipe of a button or a screen, any of that, it's really, really important to be able to do that, because there are really great studies out there that link client retention with positive client engagements. And client engagement fills up this whole realm of client experience, which is a real buzz term at the moment in the whole industry. But essentially it works. If you have a positive client experience, your end investors are going to be more in tune with you as an asset or wealth manager. They're going to be able to dedicate more of their assets to your management team so that you have a greater share of client wallet. It makes complete sense across the board, and it travels across industries as well. I mean, we want the best experience, no matter what sort of client we are, no matter what sort of industry we're actually engaging with. So it only makes sense that it's the same within the investment management industry as well.
And what would you say are the challenges for investment managers in the current environment?
Certainly, a lot of what we've seen is that there are many more client demands at the moment. So there's more information requests, there's more kind of explainers required as well, because sometimes the data that is being produced isn't actually digestible as well. So we've got lots of client reporting and service teams that are really overwhelmed at the moment with a lot of the expectations from the client base, and making sure that they deliver on those more proactively rather than just reactively is really getting into the heads of the teams. And they need to have greater motivation, and to be able to achieve that, they need to have the right technology foundations behind them to actually deliver on what their clients require. I think there's also the issue of adopting some of these technologies. So even those firms that have said, yep, tick in the box, we've got our digital client engagement tech down, it's absolutely fabulous, they probably haven't engaged the whole firm to make sure that everyone understands what it is that they're driving towards, why they're doing this, what it is that their goals are. So is it that they want greater client retention? Is it that they want to increase revenue? How is this all adding up to what matters to that individual sitting at their desk, either at home or in the office? How does that correlate to what they need to achieve? And they haven't made that connection just yet. So, it's not just having the technology, it's getting the adoption of that technology right as well. So that's also a challenge. And I think maybe also finally for this one is understanding the client's needs, because sometimes you have to be a bit of a mind reader to know what end investors actually want, what they're driving towards, what really matters to them, and how they would like the information presented. So having something that will actually help an investment manager to understand what their clients are actually all about and what they would need next, rather than waiting for them to ask for it, is a bit of a challenge as well.
And in your opinion, what do you see as the impact of inadequate client experience?
Well, there are lots of studies out there that definitely show that if there's inadequate client experience, clients are going to walk. There's lots to say that if you want to inspire great client retention, then you need to have a great client experience. There's even, I think, a study out there that shows that if you have great client experience throughout time, then when there's a crisis as well, you're much more likely to keep your clients on board. They're not going to go somewhere else. They're going to trust you even when the going's tough. So you really want to make sure that you're doing it all of the time, not just in times of crisis. I think also there's a lot to say for upsell as well, because, you know, once you've got a client, you know, you don't just have them on a level playing field and that's it. You just go, yep, great, they're my client now. You also want them to invest more with you. You want more engagement from them. You want a bigger share of their wallet, basically. And to do that, you need to have everything in place to inspire them to trust you more with even more of their assets, basically. And that's where client experience comes in. If they know that you treat them well, you are proactive in your engagements, and that you, even in times of crisis, you're able to manage their expectations and help them achieve their goals, they're going to trust you with more of their assets.
And thinking about technology, where do you see technology is able to come in and deliver that superior client experience that you touched on, and kind of also, I suppose, prevent client attrition?
Mm-hmm. So I think there are probably quite a few ways, but headliners are in the regions of personalization. So being able to understand what it is or how to actually show the data that matters to a client. So making sure that you're showing the right dashboards for them. And it's not just like having the right name at the top of the screen. It's actually making sure that that everything that you're showing them is personalized to them, and you know, that they can engage with it best. Then there's customization, which is quite similar, but also actually talks to how they engage with it as well. So if they've got questions, then yes, ultimately they will go to their relationship manager, but certainly giving them the power to access the data themselves inspires transparency as well. So, you know, you've got everything customized to their ability to access that data that matters to them. And then I think finally there's analytics as well. So in order to achieve all of the above, you need to know what matters to them. You need to know how best to engage with them, whether that's via email, whether that's via a portal, whether that's even via a PDF document that gets sent to them. No matter what matters to them, you know about it, and you can really be that great kind of warrior for their assets, and actually protect them and grow them over time. And so that's important. But I suppose overall, like, the analytics piece is the most important. If you track their activities, you know what floats their boat. You're going to be able to give them what they need in the future, and you're going to be able to inspire them to travel further with you as well.
Great. And how can you measure the success of client experience overall?
Yeah, I think there are a series of questions that you need to ask yourself, like where are you today? Where do you want to be? And what metrics are you going to use to actually make sure you've got there as well? So understanding the answers to those three questions is a very good place to start, I think, measuring success for client engagement initiatives. But there's certainly things that we've seen in the projects that we're involved in is understanding, like, not just what your internal teams think of the client engagement initiatives that you're dealing with and the technologies that you're employing, but also externally, the clients, what are they thinking about what you've done to change this whole interaction? Are they thinking positively about it? Do they think that there's ways to improve as well? So managing both sides of the fence is key to success. I think also just getting feedback overall is important, because if you ignore it, you're going to fail. We need always, all of us, in every aspect of any project that we undertake, we need to measure feedback. We need to learn from it and then act upon it. And that's how we can really be successful with our client engagement projects. Certain metrics that are used at the moment that we see quite a lot are, client retention rates, client satisfaction rates. You can do things like NPS surveys. They're quite useful as well. And also even just revenue growth as well as another factor to measure. So all key to the strategic goals of the company. But then, as I said earlier, making sure that your internal teams are happy as well is quite a good one to look at. So there are employee engagement surveys as well that can also be undertaken to measure the success of any of these projects.